Good evening, everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome to Monday Night Primetime Must-See TV with the Hudson Valley Squares. I am Pardo from Tranquility. This is your Monday Night Rant with Nick Franco, Ryan Skow, who's getting a bath from his dog, and Chris Allo. What's up, guys? How are you?
What's up, fellas?
So tonight's rant, we're actually going to do a two-parter tonight. So you're going to get one airing tonight, and then the next one will air on Wednesday night. So we're going to film them both tonight. So this first one is going to be worst band names you ever heard, or just really terrible band names. I'm sure a lot of folks have come across some really ridiculous band names, whether it's you're listening to all forms of metal, specifically extreme metal, power metal, progressive rock, some bad classic rock, really bad pop names. There's been all sorts of weirdness going on in rock and roll in general for 50 plus years. And I asked everybody to kind of put together a list of a few really bad ones that you come across. So we'll kind of go round robin on these. And if you want to say anything about the band you're talking about, go right ahead. If you want to show something, go right ahead. If you don't have anything to show and you don't really want to talk about it, just want to throw out that name, go right ahead. So we're going to start, I'm going to go down below me and then up around. So it's going to be Chris Allo, Brian Skow, Nick Franco, then myself. That's the order we're going to go in. So, Chris, you go first.
Okay. First terrible band name. They're like a band that, like 3 years ago, they were considered like the saviors of rock and roll, and I think they're okay. A lot of people like them. A lot of people don't like them. But it's a terrible fucking name, and it's Greta Van Fleet. When I first heard the name, I thought it was like a Dutch pop singer, and then I heard the song, and I'm like, but that's not a Dutch lady pop singer at all.
I thought the same thing, Chris. I had the same opinion. I thought it was like, some Dutch pop star or something.
Yeah, like in my head, it was like, Bjork or something, and it's not. It's a bunch of high school kids playing Led Zeppelin. So I think it's a terrible name. It goes to prove, though, that, and that was my point with two of my picks tonight, that with a terrible name, like the worst fucking name you could pick, you could still sell 1 million records. So who cares anyway? But, that's my first pick.
And as bad as that name is, has any of us even bothered to try and find out where they got that name? I know I haven't. I think it's a horrible name. I dig them. Okay, so where did they get that name?
I interviewed two of the guys in the band, and they were real nice kids. They were a 5-piece, and the guy that either they kicked out or quit used to like mow the lawn of a lady named Gretna Van Fleet, and she was like an old lady that lived in their neighborhood, and she was she was Dutch, and like this guy was like, wow, that's a great name for a band, Gretna Van Fleet. So then I guess obviously for legal reasons and to copyright everything, they dropped the one letter and named the band Greta Van Fleet. And then that guy quit, and then the other 4 guys took off and sold 1 million records and hooked up a lot of groupies and smoked a lot of dope and toured the world. So that guy screwed up, but he did saddle them with his name, which didn't hurt them at all.
No, it's silly, but yeah, like it all comes down to talent, I guess, right? So,
but that's how they got the name, which is so crazy. Yeah. That'd be like me shoveling the snow off of my next door neighbor, and let's call my band Donuts. I mean, it's just.
It's kind of similar. It's kind of similar to the whole Leonard Skinner thing, right? I mean, that's very similar. That was what their gym teacher or something like that, right? So,
their gym teacher.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it was their gym teacher.
Yeah. So crazy. All right, Ryan. I'm almost like trembling my boots with anticipating what Ryan has come up with here.
Well, okay. I'm sure him and Nick have some great ones.
This one comes with a quick story. I don't actually like this band, but it comes with a story. So I had to look up the date. Back in June of 2005, myself and a couple friends, I don't know, you guys might have actually been there. This was at the Loft in Poughkeepsie. It was Hate Eternal, Christine, and Incantation. And for folks that are not in the New York area, there's the Chance, which is a venue in Poughkeepsie, New York. But it's actually 3. At the time, it was 3 venues. It was the main building, the Chance, this little upstairs building called the Loft, and there was a little downstairs venue called Club Crown, like a little bar venue. So I'm there to see this death metal show. It's a pretty good bill for a Saturday night in Poughkeepsie, and I'm hanging out outside between one of the bands. And this guy I kind of vaguely know comes over to us. I forget, a couple other friends I was with, like, oh, you guys are here for the show? I thought he was talking about the Incantation show. So I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, yeah, we just got here. We just caught Christian. I think Incantation's next. And he gives us this look like he doesn't know what we're talking about. And he's like, no, that's not the show. Like, what are you talking about? Well, it turns out there was another show downstairs in Club Crannel, and the band was, and I also brought it up here. The band was the Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza. That's the name of the band. The Tony Danza.
I've heard of that.
It was. I got to put it up here. So I brought up here's the album cover in case you think I'm making this up. It's a hearse with monster truck tires. I looked it up, and it's terrible. It's like the early 2000s. There were a lot of bands that kind of sounded like the Dillinger Escape Plan, like that kind of metal hardcore. It's like all screamy and just like very discordant, very fast. I don't know. I thought this band sucked, but I thought he was bullshitting me. Like, the fuck out of here. A band called the Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza. And he was all like, yeah, you guys are into them? You're here to see them? Like, no, I'm here to see Incantation and like Christian. What the fuck Tony Danza is. So I'm like, I thought he was bullshitting me for a couple minutes. Like, there's no fucking way there's a band named that. But he was accurate. They were there and they were playing. And they brought a lot of people too. That little venue that probably had the capacity of 100 was, as far as I could tell, sold out. There were people milling around the sidewalk that were definitely not there to see a death metal show. So that's my first one.
Do I understand that there is no tap dancing in their
No, probably not.
It sounds like shitty hardcore to me. I was, it's not my thing at all. But
I will say, you bastard, you stole one of my picks.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I went with that one first because I thought someone's going to use it because it's so stupid.
It's a terrible name. It always was from day one, man. I was like, I remember when all the magazines were talking about that band, I was kind of like, what? Who came up with that stupid ass name, right?
I have to tell that story, so I had to get that in there first.
That's a good story. That's a better story than I could tell, right? I just know I hate the band name and whatever music I heard from it. And like, Nick, what do you got?
So I have a very big distaste for like hipsters and hipster things. And there was like a phenomenon of really long involved band names in metal that I think is probably on its way out because of how unwieldy and stupid it is. But there's a band out there called, I don't think they're around anymore. They were from Colorado. They were like a metalcore band, and their name was Clinging to the Trees of a Forest Fire. That's the name of the band.
Wow.
And I might be, who knows, maybe I'm an old curmudgeon, but to me, that is not a band name. A sentence, a phrase, a fucking clause is not a band name. That could be the name of an album. It could be the name of a song. How am I supposed to chant that at a show?
Not easily.
It's just so obnoxious to me. Like that's the only thing you come up with was Clinging to the Trees of a Forest Fire. I don't even care if they're good. I've never heard them. I don't care.
You don't need to, right?
It's just such a stupid name. And maybe they're the nicest guys in the world. I don't know, but terrible.
And to quote one of Chris's lines, is that name going to look good on a T-shirt?
It looks like a news headline.
I hope the logo is illegible too, just to make it a little gas on the fire.
Yeah, right.
You know what? I don't even know. I'll tell you right now. They don't have a logo. Oh yeah, no, it's actually not bad. Their logo's not bad. It's written out. It's actually not that bad. But what a terrible name.
Yeah, don't be nice here. Stick to your guns.
I was hoping it would be some obnoxious bullshit, but no, to me, like I remember when we were still reading magazines like Terrorizer and all that stuff, you'd see just like ads or whatever. And I was like, really, come on. It just seemed to be happening a lot. Brutal. But those are not band names. Use your imagination.
All right. Here's a ridiculous one for you. I even have the CD. This is a really obscure Japanese heavy rock band from the early 70s called Flight Egg. Not Fried Egg. Flight Egg.
Flight Egg?
I love
Flight Egg. F-L-I-E-D egg.
That cover looks no.
I think I know what they were going for. I think I know what they were going for.
I mean, you got to give the guys credit. You know, they're poking fun at obviously the weird pronunciation of fried egg, but yeah, this is, and the whole thing has got fried eggs all over the place. Yeah.
Awesome.
Terrible band name. Pretty good album though, actually. Lots of cool guitar work and Hammond organ and weird Japanese vocals, and yeah, it's pretty out there, but yeah, fried egg. Alrighty then, Chris, back to you.
All right, I don't have anything from this band, but I hate them. I think they're on Metal Blade Records. I'm sure everybody knows them. That's on this panel, and I'm sure everybody hates them. And it's I couldn't tell you anything about them other than I see them.
Nick is volunteering before he's even heard who the band is.
I think I know what it is.
The Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, I was wrong.
Yes, it was on my list.
I'm like,
I was thinking
seriously?
of something else, but
I'm like, Jesus, that is the worst fucking band name. And I think, obviously there was a book first, and then the book came out, and then the band used that name, and then they made the movie with Meryl Streep and Anne Hathaway. But I'm like, how is that? Like I don't even understand. There's not enough words. Like, how is that a cool band name? Like, I don't get it. And every time
hipsters like that band though. I'm sure hipsters dig it.
100%. We're all too old and we're all too unhip to be for that. And I'm like I don't get it. And of course, every time that the name of the band comes up, I think of Anne Hathaway and Meryl Streep, fighting about.
I think it too. It's a movie.
Clothes, yeah. So I hate that band. God bless Metal Blade, but so that's them.
Cool.
Sorry if any of your fans like them, but I think they suck.
I don't think you can get too many people who are gonna cry in defense. So I think we're safe here. Ryan, what do you got?
Yeah.
All right, so you, Pete, actually recommended this band to me a while ago, and I kept putting off buying it because I'm forgetful and my brain holds information like a sock holds water. But I finally bought it, and it showed up today, and it's awesome. And the name sucks. And the band is Black Bonzo.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, it's like, if anybody hasn't heard this, because I love Uriah Heep. This album, the first album from like 2004, I think, it's like vintage 70s Uriah Heep worship done perfectly. It's such a good album. They got that heavy, crunchy Hammond organ, bass guitar, tons of riffs, great vocals. And what is a Black Bonzo? I don't know. It's a very strange name. Swedish, maybe it's something's lost in translation.
But, maybe, yeah. Great band,
but as soon as
great album.
I'm using it for the. What's up?
That's a great band, great album. Yeah.
It is. As soon as it showed up, I'm like, I got to use it for the list because it's such a weird name. But yeah, great album. I love it.
What is a Black Bonzo?
Like a garbanzo bean?
A different kind of bean. Hey, black garbanzo. There you go.
Garbanzo bean. That's a terrible name.
All right, Nick, back to you.
So, there's a Japanese grindcore band called.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, it's the funniest name ever. The band is called Bathtub Shitter.
Oh yeah, I know.
I love that name. It's so stupid.
Bathtub Shitter.
Like, how do you? Oh, I'm in a band. Oh, you meet a girl. Oh yeah, what's your band? It's called Bathtub Shitter.
Would that go on a t-shirt? No, that would go nicely on a t-shirt. You walk around with that like emblazoned on your chest. People would go.
Yeah, their artwork is actually pretty cool.
Does it have anything to do with the band name? I mean, I'm just trying to picture what the shirt would look like, or the album.
No, I don't see any bathtubs. I don't see any shit. But their logo, it looks like it's written in. I mean, I believe they're Japanese. Actually, they might not be, and I might just be
Japanese.
Filling in the blanks here.
Correct.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll show you guys. That's their logo. It's actually hard to see that it says Bathtub Shitter.
Wow. I can't even read that.
Yeah, but their artwork's actually pretty cool. And for the genre that it is, it's probably really good. But I'm not really a grindcore guy. But just to me, the optics of that name, the sound of that name, it always makes me laugh. But I mean, I wouldn't call my name Bathtub Shitter.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's just me.
All righty then. I don't think I could top that one, but this one's kind of ludicrous too. So I'm going to go back to the 70s again. Another kind of real weird hard rock rarity from 1971. And yes, the band is called Orangutan.
Wow.
That's good. Is it good though?
It's very good, actually. Yeah, it's cool.
All
like big guitars, heavy Hammond organ,
nice.
but it's absolutely just ridiculous looking. I mean, there's a song called Chocolate Piano. There's a song called Love Queen. I Can See Inside Your Head. I mean,
Oh man.
yeah. Obviously one of those one and done bands, probably because, with a name like that, you're really not going to go places. And let's face it, not the best album cover in the world. Instead of King Kong, you got a giant orangutan. But so, yeah.
I was going to say, I kind of like the cover because it reminds me of King Kong, but not the good-looking King Kong, the shitty-looking King Kong from King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. King Kong versus Godzilla meets Congo, right? Somewhere in between. All right, Chris, back to you.
All right. A bathtub shitter. I thought about them. I thought about cock and ball torture, but I decided to go
I saw that band once.
Yeah, that's totally a Maryland Death Fest band for sure.
Yeah, that's where they play.
I decided to go with the band that absolutely proves you can have a shit name and still be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Arguably the greatest Southern rock band of all time. Pete mentioned them a couple minutes earlier, and it's Leonard Skinner. It's a terrible fucking name. Of course, now it's so established, but I'd love to know what people in the 70s thought of a band coming out, with that name. Of course, like Pete mentioned, named after Leonard Skinner, who was their gym teacher, who used to rag on the guys because they had long hair and make them do extra laps. So it was a guy they hated. So why they would name their band after him, I have no idea. But I love the band, but it's a terrible fucking name. At least I still think it's a terrible name.
It's definitely not one of the greatest names ever. I agree.
Definitely.
You're right, though. It's so iconic now. It's just so, it's so famous. I don't think about it anymore.
That's it, and that's the thing. And I remember when I interviewed Greta Van Fleet and they told me their story, I was like, holy shit, it's just like Leonard Skinner. And look where their crappy name took them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right, Ryan, what do you got?
All right, just this one. I don't hate this name. I kind of like it, but of all the ridiculous T-shirts I've worn over the decades, this T-shirt for this band name and this artwork in particular is the only time my mother ever gave me shit. When I wore this T-shirt, she's like, "Oh, do you have to wear that? You really?" So the band, speaking of Southern rock, is Alabama Thunder Pussy. It's Staring at the Divine, which is one of their albums from the early 2000s. And it's a very fitting name for a Southern rock band. It's like Southern rock metal. It's like almost like Skinner, but the guitars are a lot heavier and a little more crunch stuff. I think they're great. But that name, Alabama Thunder Pussy, is it's very it's not easy to mistake for anything else. It's very it sticks in your brain.
Yeah.
And I think that their name absolutely, I wouldn't say killed their career, but they should have been much bigger than they ever were, right?
I agree. It definitely put a ceiling on where they were going to go. I mean, they were on Relapse. They broke up a while ago, but they put out like 3 or 4 albums on Relapse. I saw them a couple times. They were great live, put on a good show. But yeah, you're right. Like they're not going to hit like some other old Relapse bands like High on Fire, Mastodon that like really kind of took off, got signed to big labels. They weren't going to do that with that name.
I mean, especially that last record they did with Kyle from Exorder was fucking amazing. But that name absolutely held them back, no doubt.
Absolutely, 100% held them back. But they're gone now. But when they were around, they were great. But yeah, that name was definitely keeping a nice lid on how famous they were going to get.
Oh yeah.
There was a band called Nashville Pussy too, right?
Yes. I believe they're still around.
Yeah, they're still around.
And Pussy Riot.
Yeah, that was that band that got arrested.
Yeah, that's the gamut of pussy names.
I saw a band in Holland called Dreadlock Pussy.
Oh, well, that's...
Who had like 5 minutes of fame over there.
Not a good visual.
Maybe 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, not a good thing, yeah.
All right, Nick, you're up.
So I mean, I had a bunch of names, but I realized this one has sort of come to the top, and I have to name it. I never heard of the band until I started looking for this exercise for tonight. But apparently, there was a band out of Seattle. They changed their name, surprised, but they called themselves Natalie Portman's Shaved Head.
I have heard of them too. Yep.
Natalie Portman's Shaved Head. Now I love Natalie Portman.
Do you like her shaved head?
I don't even care if she has a shaved head. I think it was from
The Sigourney Weaver look?
Natalie Portman is perfection. I mean, but yeah, it's just such a. I mean, come on, again, it's a name you can't chant. It would probably catch people's attention on a T-shirt, but that's just weird to me and awkward.
That's an example of let's just think of the stupidest name we possibly can, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
So
there is a weird thing, right, with bands that want to take their band name from another famous celebrity, which
Right.
makes no sense because of copyright and all the other stuff. I mean, I remember meeting Karen Black, the actress from the trilogy of terror movies. I remember meeting her at Chiller Theater in the 90s and talking to her about the band, which I don't know if you guys remember, The Voluptuous Horror of Karen Black. And they were kind of like a theatrical-ish kind of band, and she was like, I should have never brought it up because she was so mad that they would try and steal her name. So it's never a good name to name your band. They have Tony Danza or Natalie Portman or the Mr. T Experience or
I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
It's not really. It's probably not worth the trouble, right? Of
Yeah.
the 5
Totally
seconds
not.
of fame you're going to get.
Right.
All right, you ready for another
I
early
truly think you
70s
should.
bit of ridiculousness?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How about a little Fuzzy Duck?
Wow.
That's kind of cute. Fuzzy Duck.
This band is great, but one and done, Fuzzy Duck. And the band that they actually morphed into, as we're kind of running out of time here, we'll do one pick left for everybody. But the band they morphed into was another great band, but equally as bad, Tucky Buzzard.
Wow.
So Fuzzy Duck became Tucky Buzzard.
Which it could be better. I'm not sure.
I like
Both
Fuzzy
really
Duck.
weird.
Right?
Really good. If you like early, like Uriah Heep, maybe a little Humble Pie, Deep Purple, that sort of thing. Good, crunchy, bluesy, heavy rock guitars and lots of Hammond organ, good vocals. Cool stuff. But yeah, weird band names. Really weird. That was the 70s, right? All right, next. Chris, back to you.
Oh, okay. I don't have any more, but I'll throw one out there. It's a band I really like. But speaking of names that's going to hold them back is Lucifer. I really dig the band. I got all 3 records. I've seen them a bunch of times. Man, I think they're really onto something, but I really think the name Lucifer is going to hold them back.
And it's a
I think
damn
it's a terrible
shame.
band.
Damn shame because their music is so accessible. I've heard so many people who refuse to even listen to them because of that band name. It's like,
right.
Yeah,
Like Satan.
exactly. Exactly.
Perfect example.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I interviewed them, Chris. I interviewed
Oh, okay.
Joanna, right, and her husband, who's
Right.
super famous. They were so nice, and yeah, that's a shame. You wouldn't think in 2020 it would matter that your name is Lucifer or Satan, that people would still be upset about that.
And maybe in Europe and the rest of the world, it's not that big of a deal. But over here, yeah, not good.
Nope.
Not good. Yeah, I mean, I could see them, being the next Ghost if they didn't have that Lucifer name.
And yet, Ghost gets up on stage like a satanic pope. So
Perfect example. Songs about killing babies and
Hypocrisy
all that
at its best, man. I tell you.
Yeah.
For Iron Maiden a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very big.
I will say, I'll go on record saying Lucifer is a way better band than Ghost.
100 times better. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, most certainly.
Ryan, you got another one, maybe?
I got one more. I really don't know much about this band. I bought this album years ago for $1. They're kind of it was a mid '80s band. They probably put out a couple other albums. I couldn't even tell you, but this album's pretty good. It's like a pretty, I want to say a little generic Slayer ripoff, which I'm fine with. The band is called EXE. What kind of name is that?
I remember that.
It's
I
kind of a
remember that
silly
one too.
Yeah, it's not a bad album. It sounds like Slayer, but EXE. If it means something other than like if you're in the computer programming an executable file, which I don't think we're paying attention. But yeah, I don't know if it's like short for execute. I have no idea. It's a good album though. I mean, it's kind of cool. It was never even pressed on CD, so this LP is all I got. But yeah, just a kind of a weird. I don't know what would make you choose that as your band name. Like sitting around drinking beers. What are we gonna name our band? Someone's like, "How about EXE?" Like, all right, let's vote on that. And that's.
But if you remember, in the 80s, there was so many of those bands. SOD, DRI, what was that band from? INC was in Connecticut. I mean, there was a lot of those bands with them weird letters.
But they all stood for something, though. If I can't figure out, like, what the hell EXE would stand for as an acronym.
Right.
It's like, maybe, and if it does, I couldn't find it. I only looked for 5 minutes or so, but I couldn't find what the hell it stood for either. But it's a good album.
Yeah, I have it somewhere. That's a good one.
I had to dig it out of some crate somewhere. It was buried. It took me a little while.
Nick, you got another one?
Yeah. I'm gonna go with this band called. The band is called "I Wrestled a Bear Once," but it's all one word.
Yes.
And
I was waiting for
I'm
that.
looking at the pictures of them. Like they look like when you look at a clothing catalog that's clearly like geared toward the current fashion of like hipsters with the beard. They literally look like they came out of that catalog. Like they tried so hard to look a certain way. Who's got the glasses, the beard, and you're just.
Who's got a man bun?
It's like metalcore, and then they break into some electronic thing, and the girl is constantly shrieking. And that's not bad in and of itself, but she's no Karen Crisis. So it's terrible music for terrible hipsters. Like, yeah, terrible. And you know what I realized? I don't. I tend to like band names of bands I like, and I tend to not like band names of bands I don't like, because none of this is bands I like. We'll see later.
There's a correlation there. Same with the artwork thing. Yeah, it's definitely correlation.
Yeah, but I'm glad I don't like stuff like this because it's silly. It's just silly.
You stole my pick because I Wrestled a Bear Once was my final choice.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay, but I had a couple waiting in the wings just in case. So
Nobody went with the Job for a Cowboy.
Nobody went for Job for a Cowboy.
That's what I thought.
Going to say that.
Yeah.
Nobody went for Anal Cunt. All right, I'm going to just say it now.
Okay, yeah.
Putrid Stench.
3 times. I thought they were just the most ridiculous thing I ever seen in my life. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Putrid Stench is another one. Cattle Decapitation is a terrible name. Sorry, but good
That is a bad name.
I love the band, but I don't like the name Budgie. I think that's always kind of lame. But I love them. Yeah, it's a bird, but it's just, I know, but it just doesn't represent what they were all about. But I do have one. I'll end this all on this one. Another rare one, heavy rock band from, I think 1969. Bizarre name, Bulbous Creation.
Wow.
And then the back cover, of course.
I love these old these 70s and 60s names. They're freaking awesome.
I know, and this one really trying to be evil, right? I mean, look, he's got the goat demon there. I mean, this is really trying very hard to be just kind of like, obnoxiously evil for 69, right? But yeah, kind of cool. So there we have it. Some really bad band names, right? Some we like, some we don't like. I think we can all agree most of these are pretty ridiculous. So I want to thank Mr. Franco, Mr. Skow, Mr. Allo for joining me once again on this Monday night. But don't go away, folks. Actually, well, it'll be airing Wednesday night, but we're coming right back Wednesday night for another little rant about skeletons in the closet, as one of our readers asked. And we're each going to give 3 real guilty pleasures that we have in our collections that we don't really tell too many people that we actually like. So yeah, everybody's like, so stay tuned for that. So thanks everybody. Visit us on the web at www.citytranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. We'll see you all later on. Have a good night. Thanks guys. We'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.